After 30 years of wasting parsley, green onions, and celery, I finally discovered the secret to keeping them fresh for weeks. If you're like me, you've probably opened the fridge and found herbs that were wilted, yellowing, or slimy long before you had the chance to use them. It's frustrating, and it feels like throwing money straight into the trash. Today, I'll show you the methods that really work and explain why they keep your herbs fresh so much longer. Stay with me, because once you try these methods, you may never go back to storing herbs the old way again. Before you even think about storage, there's one crucial step you should never skip: preparing and cleaning your parsley, green onions, or celery. No matter which storage method you choose, the initial quality of the herbs directly determines how long they'll stay fresh. Start by carefully inspecting each bunch and removing any leaves that are wilted, yellow, or bruised. If left in, they'll quickly spread spoilage to the healthy parts and cause the whole bunch to wilt faster. Next, trim the base of the stems or roots, especially if they've become dry or tough. This refreshes the herbs and prevents damaged sections from affecting the rest. Then rinse the herbs thoroughly under cool running water to wash away dirt, grit, and any pesticide residue that may still be clinging to the leaves. This step not only ensures food safety, but also revives the herbs so they're ready for storage. After rinsing, gently pat them with a clean paper towel to remove excess moisture. Avoid leaving them too wet, since that creates the perfect environment for mold. But keeping a little natural moisture is actually helpful, as it prevents the herbs from drying out in the fridge. With just a few minutes of prep, you'll protect your family's health and help your herbs stay vibrant, flavorful, and fresh much longer. It's the essential foundation before applying any storage trick. Method 1. Using glass jars and plastic bottles. The first method is one of the simplest yet most effective ways to keep parsley, green onions, and celery fresh for weeks. All you need are a few clean glass jars and some plastic bottles. Start by preparing about 3 jars of different sizes so you can store each type of herb separately. Pour about 5 to 7 centimeters of clean water into the bottom of each jar. This small amount of water will keep the stems hydrated without soaking them too much. Next, place each bunch of green onions, parsley, and celery upright in the jars, just like arranging a Y. Then, take about 3 plastic bottles and cut off the top portion at the neck, keeping only the base. Invert the cut section over the opening of each jar, creating a dome that covers the herbs. This cover acts like a mini greenhouse, locking in moisture and freshness. One important note: don't seal it completely. Leave a small gap between the edge of the bottle and the jar. This tiny space allows the herbs to breathe and prevents them from becoming slimy. Once prepared, place the jars in the refrigerator. Stored this way, your herbs will stay crisp and green for 5 to 6 weeks. Another bonus is that the herbs are already washed, so when you're ready to cook, you can simply grab what you need without rinsing again. It saves both time and effort. Method 2. Using airtight containers and paper towels. The second method is another simple way to extend the freshness of herbs, and it's especially effective if you want to keep them always ready to use without much effort. That is, by storing them in airtight containers. First, prepare about 3 plastic containers with tight-fitting lids to store parsley, green onions, and celery separately. Then, place a layer of dry paper towel at the bottom of each container. The purpose of this layer is to absorb excess moisture during storage. Next, arrange parsley, celery, and green onions into each container separately. If the scallions are too long, you can fold the leafy part in half. Be careful not to press them down too hard. Just place them gently so they don't bruise or get crushed. After you've placed the herbs, cover them with another layer of paper towel on top to absorb moisture from above. Finally, close the lids tightly and place the containers in the refrigerator. Make sure to keep them in a stable spot, not near the freezer compartment or the refrigerator door. These areas often experience temperature changes, which can shock the herbs and reduce their freshness. Stored this way, your herbs can stay crisp and fresh for 7 to 14 days. The best part is that they're neatly arranged and clean, so whenever you need a handful for cooking, you can take them straight from the container. This method is quick, tidy, and a great way to keep your kitchen running smoothly. Method 3. Using paper towels and zip bags. This method is one of the most popular because it's simple, space-saving, and keeps parsley, celery, and green onions fresh for several weeks. First, prepare a few sheets of dry paper, preferably kitchen paper towels. Then, arrange each type of parsley, celery, and green onions into small bundles. Gently wrap them, but don't wrap too tightly to avoid bruising the herbs. The paper towel will help regulate moisture, keeping the herbs from drying out while also preventing excess water from causing mold. Next, prepare a few Ziploc bags and place each type of wrapped herb inside separately. Press out as much air as possible before sealing the bag. One simple trick is to leave a small gap, use a straw to suck out the remaining air, and then seal it completely. To make it easier to identify, write the name of each type on the outside of the bag for convenience when you need to take them out. Once sealed, place the bags in the refrigerator. Stored this way, your herbs can stay fresh for up to 6 weeks, depending on their original condition. This method is neat, convenient, and makes it easy to grab just the right amount of herbs. It's especially useful if you buy herbs in bulk and don't want them to go to waste. Method 4. Freezing fresh herbs. Finally, here's the perfect option if you want to keep parsley, celery, or green onions fresh for months instead of just weeks: freezing them. This method ensures you always have fresh herbs on hand without needing to run to the store. Start by going through each bunch and removing any old leaves, wilted parts, or damaged stems. Then trim off the roots of each one. Next, place the herbs into a large bowl of clean water. Add about a teaspoon of baking soda and stir until completely dissolved. Let the herbs steep in this mixture for 5 to 7 minutes. The baking soda helps soften the soil, remove pesticide residue, and disinfects the herbs more effectively than plain water. After soaking, rinse the herbs thoroughly under running water and drain them well in a basket. To make sure they're really dry, gently pat them with paper towels or a clean cloth. Removing excess moisture is an important step. It prevents clumping during freezing and helps the herbs keep their natural color. Once dry, chop the herbs into smaller pieces to make them easier to store, depending on how you usually use them in cooking. Slice each type separately and keep them apart to avoid flavor mixing during storage. Next, prepare 3 clean dry glass jars with tight-fitting lids. Place each type of chopped herb into its own jar. Finally, seal the jars tightly and place them in the freezer. Stored this way, your herbs will stay fresh and flavorful for 2 to 3 months. When you need them, just take out the portion you want and use it directly without thawing. This method not only keeps herbs fresh longer, but also saves you a lot of time every time you cook. So after today's video, you now know 4 super simple ways to keep parsley, scallions, and celery fresh for much longer. Which one do you like best? The jar with water and a bottle cover, the airtight container with paper towels, the zip bag method, or freezing them? Leave me a comment and let me know. Don't forget to try these methods yourself and see which one fits your cooking habits the best. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit like, follow, and subscribe to Tracy Tips so you won't miss more kitchen hacks that make everyday cooking easier, healthier, and a lot more fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.